Imagine training your whole life for a gold medal, and the exact moment it's placed around your neck, your brain reacts physically as if you're being hunted by a predator.
Hmm.
You've handed us a really fascinating stack of interdisciplinary research today for this deep dive.
Yeah, it is a completely wild paradox.
Right, like why do humans actively self-sabotage right as they approach their ultimate goals? Because our mission today is to figure out why the fear of success is, well, rarely about the actual achievement itself.
Exactly. The research points out that nobody's terrified of the actual gold medal. You know, what we dread are the consequences, like the blinding spotlight, the massive shift in our identity, and honestly, the resentment from the crowd watching us win.
Reading through the sources you provided, I mean, it seems like the human mind operates a lot like a faulty HVAC thermostat.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah, like you finally push into what the research calls your zone of genius, right? Where your work is highly visible and deeply fulfilling. But the thermostat decides it's getting way too warm, so it kicks on the AC. It deliberately freezes your progress to cool you back down to a mediocre, familiar temperature.
Spot on. And Freud actually documented this reactive mechanism way back when he coined the term success neurosis.
Wait, success neurosis?
Yeah, he used Lady Macbeth as the archetype for this. She ruthlessly pursued the crown, but the literal second she achieved it, the psychological weight of that power just shattered her.
Oh, wow, that makes perfect sense.
Right. And then decades later, Abraham Maslow called this the Jonah Complex. It's basically the universal human tendency to evade our own greatness, because stepping into that power demands a massive burden of responsibility.
Because if you accept that you have extraordinary talent, you lose all your excuses for living a passive life, right?
Exactly. You can't hide anymore.
But if our minds are trying to protect us from that heavy responsibility, there has to be a physical trigger causing us to freeze up. Like, how does a promotion or a new job physically translate into a threat?
Well, it really comes down to the amygdala.
The alarm system.
Yes, our brain's ancient alarm system. When you suddenly step into the spotlight, the amygdala detects that visibility as a severe vulnerability. It physically cannot tell the difference between, say, a looming deadline for a major promotion and a literal bear chasing you in the woods.
That is wild.
It is. So it spikes your cortisol and adrenaline, your heart rate increases, your digestion slows down, it triggers a full physical fight or flight response. To your nervous system, being seen means being hunted.
So for you listening, that sudden urge to binge watch TV and procrastinate right before finishing a career-defining project isn't laziness.
Not at all.
Your nervous system is basically flooding you with stress hormones to hit the brakes and keep you invisible, which, it equates with keeping you alive.
Yeah.
But I have to challenge this framing a bit.
No.
Calling it a neurosis or a biological misfire implies the threat is all in our heads. But society visibly punishes people who dare to stand out. Escaping mediocrity isn't just an internal fear. I mean, it invites real external attacks.
No, you're totally right. And the sociological research actually accounts for that. The biological alarm system isn't operating in a vacuum.
Right. It's reacting to the real world.
Exactly. It is calibrated by external social realities. We see this heavily documented in phenomena like tall poppy syndrome. That's where cultures actively cut down the highest achievers to maintain the status quo.
Or crab mentality, right?
Yes. If one crab tries to climb out of a bucket, the others will violently pull it back down to share their collective misery.
So meaning hiding your talents isn't a pathology. You're practicing what the papers call backlash avoidance. Consciously choosing to stay in the bucket because you know escaping it might cost you your community.
Precisely. If standing out has historically invited actual external destruction, especially for historically marginalized groups, by the way, then playing small is highly rational protective camouflage.
So what does this mean for you when you're staring down a major goal in your daily life? I mean, it seems like sheer willpower and traditional hustle culture will just fail here.
They absolutely will. You cannot out-hustle a flooded nervous system.
Right. The sources suggest you have to actively regulate your body's stress response so you feel physically safe being seen. And crucially, you need to curate a new tribe of people who actually celebrate your wins instead of pulling you back down.
Which leaves us with a really interesting paradox to consider.
Let's hear it.
Well, if our nervous systems are hardwired to treat success like a physical threat, and our peers inherently punish us for standing out, could we deliberately hack this cycle?
Oh, like reverse psychology for the brain?
Kind of. What if the ultimate strategy for high achievement isn't learning to accept success, but actually training yourself to crave the discomfort of rejection?
That is intense.
It is, but if you can somehow condition your brain to associate the isolation of the bucket's edge with safety, the fear of success might just disappear entirely. Just something for you to ponder.